thrilled to have sitting here to kick us off here on day 2 of our show on Sports Emmy Day, Matt Lauer of the Today Show. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Are you always that much of a soft sell? You didn't tell people why you're in New York?
You know what? There is an I in Rich and Eisen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I kind of
want me to do it?
Go.
Because your
sure.
show is nominated for an Emmy Award.
Thank you, Matt. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very nicely done.
But it's just an honor to be nominated. Well,
tell me that tomorrow, all right?
Well, here's the thing, and you will understand this because you've probably known him for many, many years. This is the first time I've been nominated in a show category for this show.
Mm-hmm.
I have been nominated 3 times before for Best Studio Host, and I've never written out a speech because the speech is smile and clap as Bob Costas walks to the stage.
There you go,
and
yeah.
accept his
That's all right. But you know
Emmy
what?
Award.
It didn't take long for you to get into the 3 previous nominations. So I started it. It didn't take a lot of prodding.
Well, did I tell you
went right there.
Well, if it's not me, my phrase, if it's not me, who, and if not now, when. But, you know, I guess that's the self preservation in me as well.
Welcome, East.
So good to see you here.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you
for
too.
coming.
Thanks.
So you are, which New York teams are you a fan of? I'm assuming New York teams.
So you're local. So
Yes.
you know you generally grow up as a Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, and Giants fan, or a Mets, Islanders, Jets, and who did I leave out?
Nets,
Nets
the old,
fan, right.
The old Long Island Nets
Exactly.
or New Jersey Nets, right?
I am the former. I am a Yankee fan. I'm going to the Ranger game tonight. I'm a big Ranger fan. Love the Giants. Love the Yankees. Love the Knicks. So you know that's the way I grew up in this area.
So who was the person when you grew up that got you into sports, or you were an
You know what?
was
My
your
dad
idol?
was always he was a fan of sports. He wasn't a jock by any means. He was a golfer. He loved to play tennis.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't out there playing baseball or basketball with us. But I grew up in New York in kind of a great time. I mean, when you think about it, as I was a teenager, the Knicks win. You know, with Bradley and DeBusschere and Reed and Frazier and Barnett, and then Frazier and Monroe, and the Jets with Namath win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in the Fran Tarkenton era of the New York Giants and the Thurman Munson era of the Yankees.
Yes,
right. But I will say my dad, when we were young, went out of his way. We went to Yankee games, and we had some of my greatest memories with my dad were sitting in Yankee Stadium, and even going to see the Giants play in Yankee Stadium with obstructed view seats behind one of those huge vertical pillars. And, you know, so sports were big in my house.
Yeah, you know, and Namath, to date myself, Namath I was a little too young to see him in his heyday.
69,
but
right.
Reggie Jackson, Thurman Munson, Catfish Hunter, Goose Gossage, Billy Martin,
Yeah.
the 4 or 5 times.
That's
he was manager.
my childhood.
That is, that was me. But still, that said, when I did a Super Bowl for the first time with the NFL Network, and Namath was there, which is, I think, like the 3rd Super Bowl I did with the NFL Network. He came on the set, and the guys, all of my Hall of Fame, my colleagues, knew that this was a special moment for me. And Marshall Falk said, "Do you want to hug him on the air?" And I got up, and I'm like, you know what? Yes, I do actually want
How'd
to
that
hug.
go?
It was great. I mean, I probably lingered a little too long.
How was it for Namath?
I never really asked.
A little weird.
Could have been. I lingered, but that's just the way I feel about him. And still, I think this town yearns, even Jet
For a
fans.
charismatic leader
Oh,
like
my
that.
gosh.
Year after they win the Super Bowl, I was flying home from I went to this kind of weird fishing camp in Maine during the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm flying back on a little puddle jumper plane from Maine to LaGuardia. And we pull back from the tarmac, and we're taxiing, and all of a sudden the plane stops while it's taxiing, and these cars pull up to the plane. They open the door, which is, as you know, very unusual before a plane's taken off. Out of the car gets Joe Namath. And I'm looking out the window of the plane. It's small, probably a 30-seat plane.
Yeah.
And the door opens, Namath gets on the plane, and what's the only empty seat on the whole plane? Right next to me.
Oh, my gosh.
And he gets on the plane, and he sits down. He has sunglasses on, and he has a Dixie cup in his hand, and he begins to spit tobacco for the entire flight. But he talked to me. I was 13 at the time, or 14. Talked to me for the whole trip about fishing. And when I got to LaGuardia and had all this stuff to carry, we get off the plane. He offers to carry my fishing rods, and all I can do is see my dad waiting, and I'm just behind Namath going,
This is
and
the
my
guy.
dad's eyes to see Joe Willie Namath carrying his son's fishing rod and saying, "Hey, great to meet you." I'll never forget.
That's what it's all about. I've got Matt Lauer of the Today Show here on the program. What time do you get up?
4
every day?
a.m. Do you want a wake-up call?
You know what? I don't. But I when on Sunday mornings my show is on at 6 a.m. and
Yeah.
I've always thought, honestly, because I've watched you do what you do so expertly.
Thank you.
And what you do, and you make it look so simple.
You're nice, but
and
those
so
hours are
easy.
rare.
Right? And getting up, then the alarm goes off. I just do it once a week. I
Yeah.
can't every day. It's been that way for how long have you?
Oh gosh, well, I've been doing the show for 20 years. I was on it for 3 or 4 years before that. I did local news in New York, the early morning local news before that. So it's been 25, 26 years. It's almost second nature. I'm not going to say that at 4:10 when the alarm goes off, I spring out of bed.
Yeah.
But I'm a morning person. My biggest challenge is I've got 3 kids and a wife, and staying up past 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Friday night is my biggest challenge. But I like the morning hours. Even on the weekends, I'm up at 5:15.
I was about to say, like, what is sleeping in for you?
No, I don't know that I've slept past 7 o'clock in the morning for 25 years. I mean, I don't. But imagine how much you can get done on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning between 5 and 7. Before my kids or my wife even wake up, I get a ton done, and it's great.
Yeah. So tonight, if Rangers Ottawa goes into overtime,
No, don't say that. Don't
no
say
shot.
that. So
I mean, like,
I
what do you
do.
Like,
By
what do
the
we
end
got
of the
here?
second period, I'm usually I'm clock watching, and there's nothing that feels worse. I feel like this is rarefied air. If you're lucky enough to have a playoff ticket or a Stanley Cup ticket a few years ago, and the desire to stay for the whole game, but the pull of knowing that if you stay for the whole game, you're going to be a wreck in the morning, it's hard. And there's nothing worse than standing up and having fans at the Garden see you leave early in a Ranger game or a Knicks game.
They don't say anything.
They
to
may
you.
let you know that it's not appropriate. They may say a few things. But tonight I'm going to try to stay to the end. You know what's great for me?
Sure.
3-goal leads.
Okay.
In either direction. Then I can get up and feel okay about leaving.
You've seen it all.
I pretty much know how that's going to end.
So Yankee Red Sox games, you probably have to leave in the 4th inning because those go usually
They
about
go
5.5
long.
hours.
Yeah. It's easier to go to a Yankee game is a little easier because I jump on the subway and it's a lot easier to get. I can get home in 20 minutes from Yankee Stadium, so that's easier. Believe it or not, from the Garden, where I just passed a few seconds ago, going back to my apartment at 10 o'clock tonight can take 45 minutes to an hour. It's hard.
Did you see Phil Jackson? I'm Matt Lauer here. Did you see Phil Jackson took the bus? Did you see that?
How did New Yorkers treat him?
Somebody, I don't know, but somebody took a photo. It shocked the world. It wound up on Twitter and other social media sites that he took the bus home after one of the Knicks losses in April. It's kind of crazy to see what Phil Jackson is now doing here. Certainly, since you've come from the era when he used to win. I mean,
it is.
How does this current Knicks situation strike you?
It's a little
Matt?
heartbreaking. We all had enormously high hopes when he got here. We'd gone through a tough period of how many years?
Yeah.
A lot of years.
Yes.
And it just something's not meshing. And I spoke to a former Knick the other day, actually at a Ranger game, and he and I were walking toward our seats, and I said to him, "What's going on here?" He says, "I've been a part of teams in the past where there's team chemistry and organization chemistry, and right now it just doesn't feel like there's any organization chemistry."
I'm going to take a break right now, if you don't mind. Just take one more segment with me here. And then again, John Mara of the New York Football Giants will be joining me here. Again, Paul Rudd and Bobby Cannavale in hour number 3 as well. Costas will be on tomorrow.
Is he going to be?
Yes, he will.
That's
Probably
great.
with his 19 millionth Emmy.
No.
But that's okay. But
the power of positive thinking.
Okay,
Rich.
I got you. Matt Lauer is here on the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We're back with Matt from New York City in a moment. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. The Giants owner, John Mara, will be calling in shortly, but we have another segment here. Chilling out with Matt Lauer of the Today Show. So, golf, is that your sport, you would say, the one that you play the most?
These days it is.
Right.
Although you and I were kind of commiserating in one of the commercial breaks that it's hard. I have 3 kids also.
Right.
And it's very hard with as much as we're away from home during the week, and you travel a lot, especially during the football season, and I travel a lot, to then get home on the weekends and say, "Hi, folks, I'm home, and I'm going off to play 5 hours of golf." So I don't play as much as I'd like. I try to sneak an afternoon in during the week.
Right.
I do love it. I have to say, it used to be I was a hothead on the course. If I didn't play well, I had a miserable day. I've somehow shed that, and just being out in a beautiful spot, even if I'm not playing particularly well, I can enjoy.
Yeah, that part of my problem is that breaks my concentration level. I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful here. This is great. Oh, gosh, that's
Are you a grinder?
I'm just not very good. Is the problem? I can't repeat my swing, Matt. I can't repeat it. I mean, sometimes I'll connect it. Those two guys have played with me over there.
Yes.
Yeah, what's that like, guys?
I mean, be honest.
I'll tell you off
He
the air,
gets a
Matt.
hold of one though.
I'll tell you off the air.
He can.
No, but
I've seen 300 out of you.
I'm a cheerful
He shot
guy.
300 in front of you? Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, we're all over the place. We're like ping pong and across. We're scrambling.
Right, military golf, left, right, left, right.
We had a debate on the show the other day. Would you rather have a 300 in bowling or a hole in one?
Which one would you rather?
I'd rather have a hole in one. I've been playing my whole life. I've never had a hole in one.
Damn straight. I said that.
Have you had a
too.
hole in one?
Well, never. No, I've holed out from about like 100 yards away in a fairway, but I've never from the tee pegged it up and holed out. Never.
Right.
And these guys are saying, well, that involves luck, and it only lasts like maybe 20 seconds. A 300 game is something that you have to take like 20 minutes to play
full
out,
skill.
and
It's bowling.
ladies and gentlemen, Matt Lauer.
Come on. Hey, I happened to be fortunate enough to play Augusta not long ago.
Nice.
I heard a story about a very well-known sportscaster who was down at Augusta, whose name will not be mentioned, who played the par 3 course,
Yes.
hit a ball in the water, re-teed, hit another one in the water, re-teed, knocked it in the hole, and went to the clubhouse asking if he got a plaque.
For that?
Very well. I'm not going to say a name. Very well known.
That's
Does
a
it
6.
rhyme
By the
with-
way, that's a 6. That's
Does
a
it
triple
rhyme
bogey.
with him Yance?
No. If you put it in
No,
the
it's
water
a
and you
5,
put
I
it.
think. So it's 1 in, 2 out,
two out,
3
three
out,
out.
4 out, 5.
5. Yeah.
5.
It's a 5.
It's a double.
It's a
Double
double.
bogey.
It's a double.
Very
He wanted the
impressive
plaque.
double. And he wanted
Two
that's
lost
amazing.
balls, a double bogey.
Would you tell people you got a hole in one if you did that?
Yes, 100%.
No.
I
It's
think
not
I'm
a hole
telling
in
people.
one.
I don't know.
You would tell people you
I think
got a
I'm
hole
telling
in
You
one
are,
people
for
I
you
know.
are
5.
fudging that story.
No,
That's a
you
hole
should
in
say I
one.
knocked it in for 5. That's not a hole in one.
You know what? That just shows you the window into a soul. To me,
Yeah, we're awful people.
You
No,
play
no.
with a bunch of cheaters.
I'm serious. No, hold on a second. I am serious. I cannot play golf with someone who cheats. I can't.
But I'm putting that on Twitter.
No, I can't. I cannot play with somebody who cheats.
Have
'Cause
you
to-
played with cheaters?
Absolutely, I have.
Who cheated in front of you?
I don't.
Does Albino cheat?
No. Al does not cheat. No. But we're also not playing for a green jacket. You know what I mean? So
Cheating like kick the ball and give yourself a better lie. Cheating like write down the wrong score.
cheating, like kick the ball, give yourself a better lie, and then after that happening, if you par, you're like, I parred.
When you're playing
And
with
you
someone
definitely did
and
not.
they say, put me down for a 6, and you know they had a 7 or an 8,
I'll say something.
do you say something
Yes.
or do you?
If we were keeping score
Well,
and there's
okay.
something going on, you bet I'm going to
But
say
under
something.
the handicap system, a lot of guys say, put me down for a 6 because it's as much as they can take on a given
Which,
hole.
by the way, that's a flawed system.
It's a bad system.
Yeah.
It really is. I want as much as I can get. I'll take every stroke I get because I need that number to go up.
That's right. Give
It
it.
takes a long time to bounce those low scores out of the computer.
Yes, exactly. And if you are putting scores in a computer, it better be correct.
Right.
To me, if a cheater in golf, that is a window into one's soul. I truly do believe that.
The ultimate gentleman's game where you call everything on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, that would not be good. That
All
would
right,
not be
at
fun.
Rich Eisen Show, if you hit 2 in the water at Augusta and then knocked it in the cup on a par 3, would you tell people you got a hole in one?
Okay.
Vote now.
Yes or no?
Absolutely.
At Rich Eisen
No
Show.
way.
Or call us 844-204-RICH. Matt Lauer of the Today Show here. I noticed the other day you interviewed the reunion of the Godfather cast. Holy
How cool was
cow,
that?
Matt. I mean,
we had De Niro, Pacino, Duvall, Kahn, and Talia Shire. It was first of all, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. 1 or 2, which one's better?
come on.
Come on.
I think it's 2.
2, 1,
1.
2.
Nothing beats the
I
original.
think Godfather 2 is
Really?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I went back and looked at 1 and 2. Do you remember that 2 is 3 hours and 20 minutes long? That is an epic.
Well, the issue is 1 has Brando and no De Niro, and
Right.
2 has De Niro and no Brando.
Exactly.
Have you ever seen when they're put together in chronological order? Have you ever
when
seen
they do it
or
that way,
sat
I've
there?
never seen that version, but I've heard about it. It must
need-
be a great experience.
You need to commit, obviously,
Right.
A nice window of time, but yeah, I would have to go. 2 is just remarkable. The fact that we could say it's the greatest sequel of all time. You
by
could
far,
easily say
by far,
that.
and a lot of people do think it's better
Well,
than
Terminator 2.
Nice, Lawson.
There you go.
See,
Empire
Greatest
Strikes
event.
Back.
This
Yeah.
is why.
For-
This is why they're told not to
Yeah.
speak to you.
This is
Best line from Godfather 1 is what?
Leave the guns, take the cannolis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make him an offer he
Little
can't
obvious.
refuse.
All right, that's a good one. How about look how they massacred my boy?
They massacred my boy. Look how they massacred my boy.
That's good.
That's not a bad one, right?
Pretty good.
It was such a fun thing. It really was.
You got to do this too. You got to
And
do this.
or you know the most underrated character in Godfather 1 is
Fredo.
No,
No.
it's Waltz, the movie mogul.
There you go.
You know,
That's good. Who gets the
when
horse?
he picks up the phone, Waltz is listening. I'd always want to pick up a phone.
Yeah.
Just one time. Eisen is listening. What it must take to do that. And
What
then,
a scene. Remember? Oh, my God. Back in the day when that came out, that was shocking.
yeah, and you tell your father, I ain't no band leader. You know, like that whole thing. And then they kind of get him.
Didn't work out well
With
for the horse.
Khartoum in the bed.
Yeah.
Not good.
Bad.
But that must have been, I
was
mean,
great.
where does that rank for you, Matt?
You know,
I mean,
it's interesting, Rich, because I've had a chance to do a bunch of those kind of ensemble things, not only with movies, but I got to interview all the Rolling Stones together. You know, and to sit across from those guys, they were my musical icons when I was growing up. I interviewed Led Zeppelin -1. But those types of things, yeah, they stick with you.
I saw that picture because they also, I guess they got here they were all here for the Tribeca Film Festival.
Right.
And also on stage, Diane Keaton and Coppola.
Francis Ford Coppola. I couldn't get Coppola to do it. I don't know why. I think
wouldn't
he was
sit down?
Well, because we did this just before the Tribeca event, and I think he was worried it was going to become a very long day.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a huge Coppola fan. Interesting. I'm looking at the picture. Interesting, and it came out in the interview that Coppola didn't want his sister to be in the movie because he thought he was going to get fired from the movie. Number one. And didn't want her to be present as he went through that kind of torture at the hands of the studio.
Right.
Didn't want Al Pacino, the studio didn't want Al Pacino to be Michael.
Wasn't James Caan supposed to be?
Apparently for a hiccup, for a moment.
Michael?
The way De Niro tells it and Caan tells it, they all basically auditioned for Michael. He said half the actors in Hollywood auditioned to be Michael, and Pacino got it.
And then, you know, I mean, seriously, so De Niro is also in all the Scorsese movies as well.
Yeah.
I mean, and John Casale, who played Fredo,
Right.
you know,
Broke my heart.
he could also, while we're on the subject, one of the greatest short filmographies of an actor of all time.
And you know what some of the other actors say on the set of The Godfather? They all learned from him, that he was apparently a master and that he had this incredible way of mastering a script and the lines and a character.
Mm-hmm.
And he was someone that they actually looked to learn the art of acting.
Because he was in The Deer Hunter, and he was also in a movie called The Conversation with Gene Hackman,
absolutely.
which was another Coppola movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Good on movies.
a
You're a
nut
movie
like this
nut.
sort
Yeah,
of thing.
That's good.
So, do you ever get nervous for an interview anymore? No.
No, I
Not really?
don't. I usually kind of a weird calm comes over me. I
Mm-hmm.
think the only time you get nervous is if you think you didn't prepare, you haven't done your homework. But I
Right.
kind of like to do the homework.
Right.
I think when the longer you do it, and you probably know this better than anyone, you just rely on the fact that no matter what, you're not going to have dead air. You're going to figure out something to talk about.
Right.
As long as the person you're sitting across from brings something to the party. And most of the people who come by the Today Show bring something to the party.
And it's, you know, it's the gold standard of morning television for many, many years. And you having done it for 20 years. I remember watching you live at 5, by the way.
Wow.
Here in
Wow.
New York City.
With Sue Simmons.
I do remember that.
Oh my God, she was one of the greatest ladies of broadcasting. I loved her.
And we had the other day, Deshaun Kaiser, now of the Cleveland Browns, formerly of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, when he was being drafted, he made a statement that got a lot of people up in arms, where he said he had the mind of Tom Brady and the body of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So we on the show said, who do you want the mind of and the body of? And we could put the photograph up right here. I said I had the mind of Matt Lauer and the body of Laird Hamilton, and there it is. That's that photograph. We can give that to you if you wish.
You're good you didn't reverse that. That was good.
No, but I mean, that's exactly what I said. I didn't even know that you were coming on the show.
Well, I appreciate it.
well,
That's
and-
the ultimate compliment. Thank you.
No, you got it. And like I said, I've been a fan of yours for some
Thank
time,
you.
so I really appreciate you coming.
Congratulations on the nomination. Good luck.
Who would your be if you had to choose the mind and the body? If you had a mind
I
of
would
somebody,
have I'd have the mind of Bryant Gumbel
okay.
and the body of
Brian Gumbel.
John Candy.
John Candy. Very good. I like that one. Bryant is, obviously
He's
an
best
all-time
friend and a great guy.
an all-time great. And he was, along with Musburger, who's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award tonight, the first NFL daytime anchors.
yeah.
He did that for NBC, and Musburger did it for CBS.
Bryant's got a steel trap for a mind. He really does.
He's the best. Thanks for coming on, Matt. Appreciate it.
Great to see you,
bet.
Rich.
That's
My
Matt
pleasure. Guys, thank you.
Matt Lauer here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.
If you like that, please download our app. There's lots of fun things there other than just more of the videos you just saw. You can call us from the app. You can email us from the app. Just download it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.